It's late. Your phone lights up. A single message. Hey, been thinking about you. And just like that, your whole body changes. The knot in your chest loosens. Your stomach drops. Your mind starts racing back through the last few days of silence, the dry replies, the canceled plan, the feeling that something was off even when they said everything was fine. You told yourself you were done checking your phone, done rereading old messages, done making excuses for someone who keeps disappearing right when things start to feel real. But now they're back, and you feel hope again. Why does one text do this to me? Why am I relieved? Why does this always happen right when I start letting go? Am I asking for too much? Am I the problem? Here's the truth most people miss. You're not chasing because the connection is so deep. You're chasing because it keeps getting interrupted. That's the trap. That's the hook. And bro, that's why breadcrumbing hits so hard. You're not failing at love. You're not crazy. And this is not proof that you're too needy, too emotional, or too much. What you're feeling is what happens when inconsistency gets confused with intimacy. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why avoidant people breadcrumb, why it keeps your nervous system locked in, and how to stop turning tiny moments of contact into a future they're still not actually offering. Let's get into it. Most people believe breadcrumbing means one simple thing: they don't care enough. But the real truth is deeper than that. A lot of the time, breadcrumbing happens when one person wants connection in small, controlled doses, enough to feel close, not enough to feel vulnerable, while the other person feels every tiny return as proof that the relationship is finally coming back to life. One nervous system copes with fear by reaching. The other copes with fear by retreating. And beneath the surface, both people are usually reacting to threat, not love. That's why this gets so confusing. Because it doesn't feel random. It feels personal. When an avoidant person sends a warm text after distance, opens up for one night, or suddenly acts tender right when you're pulling away, your brain doesn't register that as inconsistency. It registers it as relief, as possibility, as safety returning. And once your nervous system gets trained to live on those tiny returns, you stop asking, "Is this enough?" and start asking, "How do I get that version of them back?" But here's what nobody explains. Breadcrumbing is not built on steady connection. It's built on intermittent emotional access. And intermittent access is powerful. It works on the nervous system like a slot machine. Not because it's love. Not because it's clarity, not because it's commitment, but because unpredictability makes you lean in harder, hoping the next moment will finally be the real one. So if you've been stuck in this cycle, this isn't about becoming less emotional. It's about becoming more accurate. It's about learning to read patterns instead of promises, presence instead of potential, and reality instead of longing. And here's what changes everything. Once you understand the cycle, you stop blaming yourself for being affected by it. And that's the moment you start getting your power back. 1. The tiny reconnection that resets everything. Most couples don't realize how little it takes to restart a whole emotional cycle. One message, one "miss you," one late-night check-in, one sudden burst of warmth after days of distance. Most people in relationships see that and think, "Finally, we're back." But what they're actually responding to is not stability. It's relief. The deeper truth is that breadcrumbing often works because the avoidant person gives just enough connection to soothe distance without actually changing the pattern. They feel the separation getting too big. They feel your energy pulling back. They feel guilt, loneliness, or the fear of fully losing access to you. So they reach, briefly, softly, just enough. and your nervous system instantly lights up because something in you is saying, there they are. The real them is back. Here's what that sounds like in real life. The disconnecting version sounds like this. Hey, stranger, miss you. And then when you respond with warmth, they vanish again for 2 days. The connecting version sounds like this. Hey, I've been distant, and I know that affects you. I want to see you Thursday at 7 and actually talk. That difference matters a lot, because one is emotional bait, the other is emotional responsibility. And when you learn to spot that difference, the walls inside you start to reorganize around truth instead of hope. 2. Ambiguity is the glue. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples get trapped not by rejection, but by vagueness. Because vagueness keeps hope alive. It keeps the door cracked. It keeps you emotionally engaged without ever giving you something solid enough to stand on. The deeper truth is that ambiguity protects the avoidant person from full exposure. If they never clearly define what this is, they never fully have to show up inside it. They can still reach for comfort, still enjoy connection, still come close when they want presence. But they don't have to tolerate the pressure, accountability, or vulnerability that real clarity requires. And meanwhile, you start filling in the blanks with longing. Your mind quietly says, if I stay patient, if I don't push, if I just keep this light, maybe it'll naturally become more. But here's what nobody explains. Unclear people often feel safe because they leave room for fantasy. Clear people feel riskier because now you actually have to face what's true. The disconnecting version sounds like this. I really like you. I just don't want to put pressure on it. Let's just go with the flow. The connecting version sounds like this. I like you, but I'm not emotionally available for a relationship right now. If that doesn't work for you, I understand. One keeps you orbiting. One gives you ground. And when you choose clarity over chemistry, that's when confusion stops feeling like connection and starts looking like what it really is. 3. Intensity gets mistaken for intimacy. This is where it gets really interesting. Most people in relationships think the strongest moments tell the truth. The deep call, the vulnerable night, the sudden affection, the long message after distance. And because those moments feel so real, they assume the connection itself must be real in a stable way too. But intensity and intimacy are not the same thing, not even close. A breadcrumbing dynamic often creates emotional spikes, and those spikes feel powerful because your nervous system has been deprived. So when closeness comes back, it doesn't just feel good, it feels enormous. Like water after a drought, like sunlight after a storm. And the avoidant person feels it too. For a moment, they may be fully there, fully sincere, fully tender. But sincerity in a moment is not the same as capacity over time. Real intimacy is not more chemistry, not more talking, not one magical night, but repeated, emotionally available presence. That's what creates safety. The disconnecting version sounds like this. At 1 a.m. they say, I've never felt this way with anyone. You matter to me so much. Then the next day they're cold, distracted, or gone. The connecting version sounds like this. They say, last night meant a lot to me. I want to keep building this with consistency, not just emotion. And when you stop treating emotional highs like proof, you stop getting pulled back into cycles that only feel deep because they keep breaking. 4. They open up just enough to keep you in. And this is the one most couples never figure out. A breadcrumbing person does not always keep you with grand gestures. Sometimes they keep you with one small wound, one sudden confession, one quiet piece of vulnerability that makes you think, finally, I'm seeing what's beneath the surface. That's why this dynamic is so hard to leave. Because now you don't just feel attached to who they are, you feel attached to who they almost became with you. The deeper truth is that avoidant people often reveal just enough emotional truth to reduce pressure without actually increasing availability. They might tell you they've been hurt before. They might admit they get overwhelmed. They might say they don't know why they pull away. And all of that may be true. But truth is not the same as repair. Insight is not the same as change. Your heart hears vulnerability and thinks, he finally let me in, or she feels safe with me now. But if that opening is never followed by steadiness, all it does is deepen your investment without changing the cycle. The disconnecting version sounds like this. I'm sorry, I've just been dealing with a lot. You know I'm not good at this stuff. And then, nothing changes. The connecting version sounds like this. I do shut down when things get real. I'm working on that, and I don't want you paying the price for it. Can we talk tomorrow and make this concrete? That's the shift. Not confession. Follow through. And when you start requiring movement instead of just meaning, the relationship stops feeling like a mystery you have to solve and starts feeling like something that either can hold you or cannot. 5. Real intimacy often triggers real distance. Here's the part that messes with people the most. Sometimes the pullback happens right after the best moment, right after the amazing date, right after the deep conversation, right after sex felt tender instead of casual, right after you finally thought, we're getting somewhere. Most couples think progress should create more closeness, but with avoidant patterns, progress can actually trigger withdrawal. Because when connection starts feeling real, the avoidant nervous system can interpret that closeness as pressure, engulfment, or loss of control. So they don't pull away because nothing is there. They often pull away because something is there, and it scares them. That's why breadcrumbing can feel so cruel. The closer you get, the less stable it becomes. And your brain keeps trying to solve the contradiction. If they felt that too, why would they leave? Because emotionally, what feels nourishing to you may feel exposing to them. Something inside them is whispering, that was too close. I need space. I need to get myself back. It's like reaching for someone whose body wants warmth and distance at the same time, like trying to hold water in your hands. The more you clutch, the faster it slips. The disconnecting version sounds like this. After an incredible weekend together, they go quiet for 4 days and come back acting casual. The connecting version sounds like this. Last night felt really close, and I noticed the part of me that wants to disappear after that. I'm not going to vanish on you. I just need a little space, and I'll call you tomorrow. That kind of honesty changes everything. Because then, distance stops feeling like abandonment and starts feeling like something that can actually be named and repaired. 6. You slowly become the one managing everything. But here's what nobody explains. Breadcrumbing doesn't just keep you attached to them. It slowly trains you to abandon yourself. Most people in relationships respond to inconsistency by becoming easier to handle. You text less, you act cooler, you hide your needs, you stop bringing things up. You tell yourself to be understanding, to be patient, to be low maintenance, to not ruin the good moment. And without realizing it, you become the emotional regulator for someone who still isn't really showing up. Not because you're weak, not because you're dramatic, not because you love too hard, but because your system has learned that self-silencing keeps the connection alive longer. That is the trap. The avoidant person gets to stay comfortable. You do all the stretching, all the translating, all the emotional labor, and some part of you is quietly thinking, if I ask for too much, they'll disappear. So you shapeshift. You perform safety for them while feeling less and less safe yourself. The disconnecting version sounds like this. No worries, haha, I totally get it. Take your time. Even though you're hurt, confused, and exhausted. The connecting version sounds like this. I like you, but inconsistency doesn't work for me. If you want this, I need more than occasional effort. This isn't a communication hack. This is what self-respect sounds like when it finally stops apologizing for needing something real. And when you do that, your relationship with yourself starts becoming the safe place you were trying to build with someone else. 7. The trap breaks the moment hope needs evidence. And here's what changes everything. Most couples make decisions based on moments. Secure people make decisions based on patterns. That one shift alone will save you years. Breadcrumbing survives on potential, on mixed signals, on almost, on maybe, on the tiny hit of closeness that makes you forget the larger reality. But real love does not ask you to build a future out of fragments. Real intimacy is not a trail of emotional breadcrumbs through the forest. It is a road, clear, walkable, mutual. The deeper truth is this. The cycle breaks when you stop asking whether they feel something and start asking whether they can sustain something. Because feelings come easy for a lot of people. Presence does not. Longing is common. Consistency is rare. And emotionally mature love is measured less by how deeply someone can feel in a moment and more by how steadily they can remain when things become real. The disconnecting version sounds like this. They said they miss me, so maybe I should just give it more time. The connecting version sounds like this. I hear that you miss me. If you want to be in my life, show me with consistency, clarity, and effort. This isn't a trick for getting an avoidant to choose you. This is what it looks like when you stop trying to be chosen by confusion and start choosing what actually feels safe. And that's the shift that turns a relationship from an emotional guessing game into a place where your heart can finally exhale. So, no, this isn't about becoming colder. It's not about playing games. It's not about learning how to outmaneuver someone who keeps pulling away. It's about becoming the kind of person who no longer mistakes crumbs for care, intensity for intimacy, or longing for love. When you internalize this, you stop overinterpreting every little return. You stop chasing emotional smoke and calling it fire. You stop asking, how do I get them to stay? And start asking, why am I working this hard for something that still doesn't feel real? And honestly, that changes everything about the kind of partner you become, the kind of love you allow, and the kind of connection your nervous system finally learns to trust. If this hits something in you, let it. Sit with it. Send this to the version of you that kept calling confusion chemistry. And stay here if you want more honest conversations about attachment, connection, repair, and what real love actually looks like.